New at 6, Wisconsin's Attorney General leaves office next month, and he feels he's achieved almost everything he wanted.
But Lacey Crisp explains how he plans to deal with 6,000 sexual assault kits that were never processed. Lacey?
Van Hollen explains to me there are lots of reasons why these kits were never tested, but now there's a system in place so they are all dealt with to make sure sexual assault victims don't become victims of the system.
6,000 unprocessed sexual assault kits had been sitting in warehouses. Now they will either be tested or organized for future use.
The bottom line is the more DNA samples we have in the system, the more able we are to solve crimes, to take serial rapists off the street.
Attorney General J.B. Van Hollen explains he's been working since 2012 to come up with a plan to deal with the thousands of untested kits. It's part of the Sexual Assault Response Team, or SART, and while the goal is to test most kits, not all will be processed.
Why aren't all rape kits tested? Why aren't they all processed?
Well, for instance, it's very personal information. There are a lot of times victims do not want to proceed with prosecution.
Van Hollen says some of the sexual assault kits weren't processed because the case may have been resolved without the need for that evidence, or that they did not need it for identifying the alleged assailant. And there's a law that requires law enforcement agencies to hold DNA evidence until a person has served his or her whole sentence.
This gives us the opportunity to preserve that evidence so that they can be in the future if they're needed.
Van Hollen says it would be difficult to test every kit and every piece of evidence that is sent to the state crime lab.
We've gotten rid of the backlog, but that backlog could creep back very rapidly if we were to test every bit of evidence that we could test at the crime lab.
And Van Hollen says he doesn't have a breakdown of how many kits weren't tested for any given reason, but he assures me very few just fell through the cracks. Mike and Carol.
All right, thanks, Lacey.